We have the Dodger Parade is now concluded, so I think it's a good time to put a little bow on baseball season. We're going to talk a little Giants Commanders soon.
Yeah.
I'm here to give you the 5 best teams for the 2024 baseball season that's now concluded.
Okay.
What? Wait, what is
We've
it?
closed up the season. I'm going to tell you who the 5 best teams were when all was said and done.
So of this past season.
Of this past season. Let's wrap this up. Let's end it once and for all. 5-10, little Giants Commanders talk. Here we go.
Here we go.
Number 5.
And before anybody, this is unarguable, too. All right, number 5
of course.
is the Kansas City Royals. Look, Bobby Witt Jr., I said all year should have been the MVP. Great manager, as we know. 2 horses, as we learned at the top of that rotation. The Royals, the 5th best team in baseball.
Already disagree.
I told you it's inarguable, Evan. Here we go.
Number 4.
The Cleveland Guardians. And remember this, their regular season record was just 8-5 versus the White Sox, which just shows how damn good they were versus everybody else in the league. Legit arms and a star in Jose Ramirez. Here we go.
Number 3.
San Diego Padres. They were the hottest team in baseball for the entire second half of the year. Took the Dodgers to the brink of a Game 5 in the DS. Padres have to be the 3rd best team in baseball.
We're
for
learning
2024.
how Sean copes with defeat right now.
Right.
Here, I'm just, again, giving you the list.
Okay.
Here we go.
Number 2.
It is the New York Yankees. Look, they ran into the only team that could have beat them in a postseason series. The fundamentals a problem, but talent-wise, again, you cannot argue this. Here we go.
Number 1.
And number 1 is the Dodgers. I tipped my cap finally. They were hard to beat. Many doubted them in their pitching. They were far too deep in their lineup. Congrats to the LA Dodgers, as much as that pains me. And those are your 5 best teams for the 2024 MLB season.
I think you need to be banned on Monday from doing a Cinco.
What's that?
Loogy, get yourself ready for a Cinco on Monday.
What's going on?
Sean is temporarily banned for the laziest Cinco in the history of Cincos.
What's lazy about that?
I mean, you just literally made a list of how every team finished
It's
this
a
year.
conclusion.
Yeah, except he left one team out on purpose. You didn't see what he did there?
I didn't even care what he did.
He's so bitter about his team losing and the fact that fans of another team in this town have taken joy in it.
What?
That he made a whole Cinco on a Friday with the baseball season over to literally take one giant dump, if you will, on the New York Mets.
This
Oh,
isn't
the Mets
about-
weren't in that list.
Yeah, no kidding. And he put the Royals and the Guardians and the Padres and even
Why are
the
you
Yankees.
making this about your team? This isn't about your team.
You made it about
No,
them.
I didn't. I didn't
Yes,
include them because they are not one of the 5 best teams in baseball this year.
Okay. I mean, should I?
I mean, I
fight
could have
with
put
him,
them
or-
at. I guess because they beat the Phillies, they could be 6.
Oh, thank you.
Maybe
for
the
that.
Astros at 6.
You know what? I'm not going to waste my time. I'm going to hand the microphone over to somebody that
Make
has
it back.
no problem.
I can't believe you made this about you.
It's not about me.
Making this about the Mets.
This is not about me. I'm going to hand the microphone over to somebody that's more than willing to actually fight you about this. I present to you.
We're doing Giants Commanders now.
I present to you, Positive Tommy.
Thank you, Evan, because Sean kept repeating himself over and over again. It's not arguable. Well, why don't we try here, Sean? Why don't you swallow this one? Every single team in the National League postseason would have beat the Yankees.
All right, hold on. Time out. Let me take a 30. Evan?
Yeah.
Should we do a Loogy here?
Probably on Monday because I feel like we should talk about the Giants. But
Yeah.
you know what?
This'll
If we
last
can
like
make
5
it,
seconds.
if we can make it really quick, maybe we should do it.
Yeah, let's make this one quick.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, a Lugas debate series has been called
I
on
wasn't
this
prepared
Friday.
for that.
It is a Lugas debate series. The New York Mets would have beaten every team in the American League. They would have beaten the Yankees. And since you started, I'm going to let Tommy start. Tommy, in this Lugas debate series, state your case. The clock starts right now.
Remind me again what we're doing here. The Yankees would have lost every single team in the National League. Okay, that's absolutely accurate here because the Yankees, as they often do, are a bully team. They bullied the Royals, they bullied the Guardians, and when they stepped up in class, they got smacked around. We talked about it all year. The Astros were going to be the Yankees' final boss. Well, guess what? The Astros were wearing Dodger blue because when you stepped up, you got smacked and embarrassed. The Mets would have swept you. The Brewers would have swept you. The Dodgers were gentlemen, so they punted a game and they let you get out of there with your damn dignity, although you took a dump all over yourself in that series. So you said, nah, we're good here. Who else? Padres? They would have wiped the floor with you. The Yankees are an embarrassment. They are a shell of themselves, a shell of a great organization. And perhaps if their leaders that Sean claims to be actually pumped more into the team during the World Series, instead of taking shots at the Mets, maybe, just maybe, they would have sent it to L.A., and you wouldn't have to blame some rapper from 20 years ago instead of blaming your team.
All right, clock is up.
Thank you.
I'm holding the scoreboard up because this Lugash debate series, which occurs every once in a while, is tied 2-2 right now. Sean, your retort starts now.
Okay, I'm going to read you a couple scores. 9-0. 8-0, 10-2, and lastly 10-5. The closest the Mets came in any single 4 losses to the Dodgers was 5 runs. They, for 4 games in a series, looked like they didn't belong in the same field as the Dodgers. The Yankees, in a 5-game series, yes, they only won 1 game, came down to narrowly beating them every time, including a walk-off grand slam in Game 1. The errors there in that final game. The Yankees and Dodgers belonged on the same field with each other. The Yankees just made more mistakes. The Mets didn't belong. Oh, by the way, the Mets, led by their brilliant ace, who had nothing wrong. It was all about the pitching lab. Sean Manaea, what do you last? An inning and a third? When you needed him to pitch a big game to continue the Mets season, he turtled all over himself. And last but not least, the Yankees were able to do this and only got made fun of by Fat Joe after it was all over. They didn't have to run a fast food gimmick for 162 games to show they belong. Tommy, great season for the Mets. Don't belong.
This is where you guys can fight with each other. Loogy, continue if you have anything else to say.
No, I'm glad Sean brought up what he brought up there, because I remember Game 5 of the NLCS, and the Mets defended their home field, and they sent it to L.A., something your team couldn't do, even though they went up 5 runs, and they started to play Little League Baseball, including the great Aaron Judge. The great Aaron Judge dropping
Tommy, you're boring me. Tommy.
Go ahead.
You're boring
Tough
me.
guy.
When did the Mets draw their Dodger bullpen game like the Yankees won? When did that happen?
See, the Mets send it to Game 6,
right.
and the Yankees
They
did
drew it in L.A. to give themselves a little comfort to get back home where there was less pressure. The Yankees, unfortunately, got their bullpen game at Yankee Stadium. That's great. I'm glad you're really excited about this. Please, you won 2 games versus the Dodgers. If that makes you feel better, that's fine. Also, the Yankees and Mets, when they played each other in regular season, I forget something. No Giancarlo Stanton, no Jazz Chisholm. It's Carlos Narvaez, it's Jahmai Jones, it's J.D. Davis.
And it's, what is it? What is it? Oh, what do you like to say all the time? The Mets, it's their World Series.
It was.
Well, guess what? We won our World Series. You lost yours. And here's another part of it, too.
That's a good line.
You can make all the cracks you want about McDonald's. The Dodgers celebrated on your turf, which Yankee fans, it's been a while since we've had a World Series celebration at Yankee Stadium, so you got to see that. Right. And guess what they did? They played Frank Sinatra in New York, New York. You guys are tone deaf.
All right. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful Lugash debate series.
I need a drink of water.
Now you guys can shut up for a second. Tiki, who won that?
I mean, I think Loogy kicked his ass.
I think Loogy kicked his ass, though.
Sorry, Sean.
Sorry, Sean. Sorry, not sorry. Tommy's taking a 3-2 lead in the Lugash debate.
3-2.
Congrats to Loogy, Evan, and all the Mets fans. You beat the Dodgers twice in the NLCS. I look forward to that ring ceremony on opening day.
Okay. Wait, hold on a second here. The rules of the
Tom.
Lugash debate series.
I accepted the loss. I'm congratulating you.
You aren't graceful there.
That was not graceful at all.
Congratulate.
And my fandom has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the fact that he destroyed you.
It's nothing to do with fandom. I'm congratulating you. I mean, all I've seen is Met fans tip their cap, go, we beat the Dodgers twice. I'm so happy you guys are celebrating that.
I like how he flipped the World Series thing back on.
That was good.
No, it was a great line.
That's what
It was a
won
great
it.
line.
I agree.
The fact that you acknowledged it, that's why you lost.
And by the way, that means I won because he finally acknowledged it is the Mets World Series.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It won him the debate series. I thought it was relatively close. I had Tommy ahead, but that was the knockout punch.
Right.
That was the
mic drop.
Get the hell out of here. Well, you started this by doing that dopey Cinco.
Yes,
Well,
it was.
it was an accurate signal. That's unarguable.
Now go get Tommy some water because he's thirsty.
And you know what, Tiki, you mentioned something, too, about the laziness of the Cinco. I'm going to take it a step further. The Yankees lost in the World Series, and since they've lost, Sean has done a Cinco on Halloween candy, and now he did a Cinco where he mocked the Mets. When are we going to get a little Cinco of why the Yankees lost the World Series? When are we going to get that? January, February? You need to step up and give us the top 5 reasons why you
here's
lost.
Here's why. Because we move on. We don't dwell on it and celebrate it.
No, you have to hit
Also,
the podium. You have a big habit of skipping the podium.
As long as you're going to open up your ferret mouth, here's one more message to you and all the other Met fans.
Yeah, let me know, Fatso. What do you got?
All I heard all year before the Yankees made the World Series was this line from you, from Sal, and other Met fans. Actually, Evan never stooped this low, but plenty of my timeline did. Who was the last team to make a World Series in this town? And it was the Mets in 2015. I didn't argue it. You know what? No point did Yankee fans say? Well, we had the tougher path facing the Astros all those years, so that doesn't count that you were the last team in. But Met fans don't want to hear that now, do they?
Sean, I think you should spend the energy and be a man and admit that your franchise, just admit it, is bad. They are broken. They had no shot at beating the Dodgers, and you know deep down in your soul they would have lost to the Mets. You know it. That's why your insecurities come out by mocking them.
Sure. Would Luis Severino even been allowed to start in Yankee Stadium?
I tell you, I had that thought the last 2 days, and I don't want to have that thought. I may do a Rico on it later tonight, and that was if the Mets did beat the Dodgers, what would have happened in the World Series?
Yankees in 5.
Because there's a part of me that says the Mets were done. Like, Manaea was done. Their bullpen was worn out. But then there's another part of me that says the Mets would have found a way. And the Yankees would have found a way to lose. And that's why, like, I'll never know the answer. None of us will know the answer. And I may sound like a fanboy for saying this. I think the Mets would have beaten them. I don't think it would have been in 5. I don't think it would have been easy.
Based on what you had no pitching left.
I just explained it. I admitted that I don't think they had much pitching left. I think that they would have found a way. And you would have found a way to lose. Like you Why are you laughing at me?
Because you guys are so pathetic, man.
Sean.
Based on nothing, they would be the Yankees.
It's not based on nothing.
You guys are sad.
Dude, no, hold on a second.
Sad
Hold on. All screaming aside.
It's all they can. It's all they can do.
Don't turn on us. I feel so bad for him. Oh, you know what? You know what? I'm sorry. Hold on.
That's why I'm conveniently silent over here.
You know what, Yankee fans? It's 48 hours after the Yankees lost. Should we gather in the parking lot and have a big parade to celebrate the season?
That was one guy who did it.
Doesn't matter. He represented the whole line.
And he sold a bunch of T-shirts.
Could we get vegan options at spring training next year?
Did the Mets match up well with the Yankees, yes or no? You know the answer is yes because we have a lot of left-handed pitchers.
Not what's left.
Of course.
Listen.
Giants Commanders. Let's go.
I do want to put this to bed with a very simple question to somebody who doesn't even care. But sometimes those who don't care will give you the best answer. Tiki Barber.
Yes, sir.
If the Mets somehow miraculously beat the Dodgers, knowing the state of their pitching, which is fair.
Yes.
Knowing the Yankee issues, how do you think the World Series would have played out?
I think the Yankees would have destroyed them.
Thank you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
I think I disagree with you, but I'm not going to fight about it.
I think the Mets pitching was very flawed.
I think they were, too. I think the Mets would have scored a lot of runs and they would have stolen some games.
And the Dodgers pitching, despite us thinking it was flawed, actually had a ton of – it was managed expertly. I apologize already.
Thank you.
To your cousin.
I won just for that.
Right. And Walker Buehler, out of his ass, turns out to be amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Here's the problem with this discussion, and that's why we will move on from this forever. We don't know the answer. Like, it's never happened.
Right.
So I can sit here all day, and Tommy, you could say it too. We would have beat the Yankees, and Yankee fans could laugh the way Sean did, and Tiki could say, nah, I think we don't know. We're both losers. We didn't get there. The Mets didn't get there, and the Yankees lost to the Dodgers in 5. It's just the reality of what we have to live with. But I will tell you.
Right. In 11 games, our New York teams won 3.
Yeah. Like in 1999, when the Mets lost to Atlanta, I knew that even if the Mets won, they were going to get smoked by the Yankees. And I think you would even admit that too, Tommy.
Yeah.
I think that 2024 will always have that open-ended question. Okay? With that said, I love the Giants on Sunday. Can I tell you why real quick and we'll get back to your calls?
Yeah. I don't know if I do.
I kind of understand that. Like, with football, it's a week-to-week proposition. It really is. It's a week-to-week proposition. Like, I haven't liked the Giants in weeks, and we all know their deficiencies, but there's something about the Commanders. Now, the Commanders are a team I picked to win the NFC East.
The Commanders.
I haven't cashed out on it, but defensively, like, I don't think they're nearly as good as the stats they've put up.
No.
And when you combine Daniel Jones' due-ness to actually perform at MetLife Stadium, when you combine the fact that he's had success against this Commanders team, I just feel like this is the Daniel Jones-ish breakout game. And the other thing I feel good about is a trap game. It really is.
For the
Commanders, they're coming off the most improbable victory you could ever have.
Right.
They're playing the Steelers and the Eagles and the Cowboys the following 3 weeks. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I think they look at the New York Giants as just nothing. And so I think this has all the makings of a trap for a very solid Commander team.
But I wonder if this Commanders team is good enough or if they think they're good enough to be caught in a trap game. That's the only reason I would say that.